Does being able to see into the future make us better investors? Now, while in reality we cannot see into the future, but we're going to run a little thought experiment today and see if we could know what was going to happen in the future and make our investment decisions based on that, would we end up in a better position? Now, we don't actually have facts about the future because there are no facts about the future, but we can use the past. So let's go back to January of 2020. So that's a few years ago, and if I were to show you this chart with all of these news headlines, with everything from we are going to have a pandemic, the government is going to shut down, we are going to have incredibly high inflation, we are going to have really volatile interest rates, etc., etc. So headlines every day. Every single one of these little boxes would have been, or was, front page news. You would have looked at this and said, this is too wild of a time. Right? I would definitely not want to be invested in the market. I'd go to cash, or maybe I would just go buy long-term government bonds and sit these few years out because they would not be good for the market. Well, from January to 2020 to now, how has the market done? How has the stock market done? Well, this chart just goes to 2022, or the end of 2022, and the market was up around 25% during that time period. So the stock market, during all these headlines, was up double digits, and in 2023 it's up even more. Well, if you would have known all that news, and you would have said in 2020, well, I know what's going to happen in the future, and so I'm going to stay out of the market because it looks too risky. I'm going to go buy long-term government bonds. I'm going to sit this one out with long-term government bonds. How would your investments have done in long-term government bonds? During that same time period, you would have lost around 30% of your portfolio. And so if we were sitting at a table in January of 2020 and you knew everything that was going to happen in the future based on the headlines, and you would have said, well, I'm going to sit it out in the market, I'm going to go buy bonds. Rather than being up double digits, you would be down 30+%. And so what does this mean? Why are we talking about it? Well, as we look into the future and as there are inevitable headlines, inevitable breaking news, it does not necessarily mean that the future for the market looks bleak. And so hopefully we can take this away and say, well, if we couldn't have figured it out actually knowing the facts, then moving forward, maybe we can give a little less importance to these headlines and focus on our long-term investment plan. I hope you found this helpful. And as always, thanks for investing your time with the Personal CFO.